this is what we're dealing with today. This is not just, as I said, it's not just the destruction of our environment. It is the subversion of American democracy. And the big polluters and their indentured servants in our political process, and their slick PR firms like First and Marstella, and their phony think tanks in Washington, D.C., like the Heritage Foundation and the Cato Institute, which are just apologists for corporate greed. They had nothing to do with free market capitalism. They just justify corporate profit-taking. And they're phony scientists. They're these tobacco scientists that they hire. We call them biostitutes. They have, over the past 20 years, they've successfully marginalized environmentalists as radicals or militants or tree huggers, or, as I heard the other day, pagans who worship trees and sacrifice people. But there's nothing radical about the idea of clean air and clean water for our children. And we're not protecting the environment, as I said at the outset, for the sake of the fishes and the birds. We're protecting it for our own sake, because we recognize it's the infrastructure of our communities. And if you talk to the people at Capitol Hill who are orchestrating these kind of rollbacks and say to them, why are you doing this? You have children too. I spent a lot of my time over the past couple of years having these conversations. What they invariably say is, well, the time has come in our nation's history where we have to choose now between economic prosperity on the one hand and environmental protection on the other. And that is a false choice. What we have to understand in this country is this, that the domination of business by government is called communism, but the domination of government by business is called fascism. And what our job is to walk that narrow trail in between, which is free market capitalism and democracy, and keep big government at bay with our right hand and big business at bay with our left. And in order to do that, we need an informed public that can recognize all the milestones of tyranny. And we've already passed a lot of those milestones way back on the road. And we need an informed and aggressive and independent press that is willing to stand up and speak truth to power. And we no longer have that in the United States anymore. It took 230 years of disciplined, restrained, and visionary leadership by Republican and Democratic presidents to build up those vast reservoirs, those oceans of public love for our country. And in 7 short years, through monumental arrogance and incompetence, these people in the White House have drained that reservoir dry. And anybody who says that it's good national security strategy, that the fact that this recent poll in Europe shows that the majority of European youth like Osama bin Laden better than our president, that's good for our national security, that person is completely detached from reality. Or the fact that Hezbollah is now more popular in the Mideast than our country by far, the reverse of what it used to be. If you think those things are good for our national security, you are so wrong. And to me, this is the bitterest pill to swallow, because I saw when I was a little boy, in the faces of those crowds of hundreds of thousands of people, the hope for leadership from the United States of America. Not just to do good things for our country, not just to do good things for our country, but to do great things for all of humanity. And Abraham Lincoln said about our country, America is a great nation because we are a good nation. And if we ever stop being a good nation, we'll lose our greatness as well. And guess what? So, those of us who understand what it is that makes this country worth fighting for have to fight now to get it back from those who don't. Thank you all very much.